So hi guys, and welcome to section 4.4, solving two-step inequalities. So we solve two-step inequalities in the same exact way that we solve equalities, except of course you have to swap the inequality if you are dividing or multiplying by a negative number. But let's look at how we do this. And so let's see here. We're going to start with 5x subtract 4 is greater than or equal to 11, and we're going to graph the solution. So in an inequality, the first thing we would do is deal with this subtract 4, and it's the same for an inequality. So we're going to add 4 to both sides. So add 4 here, add 4 to there. So this is the addition property of inequality. And remember, that one just basically says that if you add something to one side, you have to add it to the other side. So here we're going to undo the subtraction. Kind of seem to be a little bit messy today. I'm sorry. So we're going to undo the subtraction. It's probably Mrs. Burke texting me because she always does. Okay, so let's see here. 5x subtract 4 plus 4 gives me just 5x. I seem to have lost my cursor though. I don't know what happened to my cursor. Give me a sec. Hi guys, welcome back. I fixed my problem with my cursor. It's not working. So anyway, 5x subtract 4 plus 4 gives you 5x is greater than, less than, this is a 4, so 15. So here we need to undo the multiplication. So we need to undo the multiplication. We're going to do that by dividing by 5. Since we multiplied by 5, we're going to divide by 5. So 5x divided by 5 gives you x, which is greater than or equal to 15 divided by 5, which is 3. And we don't swap the inequality because we're dividing by a positive number. And this is the division property of inequality. Those little dots mean that it's the same thing. So we end up with x is greater than or equal to 3. So if we graph that, it looks like this. 3 is here, 4, 5, 2, 1. So it's a solid dot because it's greater than or equal to, and x is greater than, so it means that the arrow is going that way. Okay, let's solve 3 divided by, and let's actually make this bigger. I think part of the problem is, whoa, that's really big. Part of the problem is I'm kind of running out of some room here. So solve b divided by negative 3 plus 4 is less than 13. So in this case, we need to undo the addition first. So we're going to subtract 4 from both sides. And we're going to undo addition. So we undo the addition here. And we end up with b divided by negative 3 is less than 13. Subtract 4 gives us 9. So we have b divided by negative 3 is less than 9. So in this case, now since this is division, we want to undo the division. And to undo division, we do its opposite, which would be multiplication. So we're going to multiply by a negative 3. Since we multiply by a negative 3, we have to swap this inequality. So it becomes greater than 9 times negative 3. These cancel out, so we end up with b is greater than 9 times negative 3 is negative 27. And if we graph that, it looks like negative 27, negative 26, negative 28, 26, 27, 8. And then B has to be greater than, but not equal to. So we have an open circle, and our arrow goes that way, because it has to be greater than. So that's how you solve that. All right, here's the ones that you can do on your own. So why don't you do those, give it a pause, and come back, and we'll see what you got. So hi, welcome back. So in this case, we need to undo the subtraction, so we're going to add 7 to both sides. So we have 6y is greater than 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's greater than 12. We're going to divide both sides by 6, and y is going to be greater than 2. In this case, we have to, this is a positive 4, so to undo that, we subtract. So we're going to subtract 4 from both sides, and I've got my same problem again. I don't know why this cuts out. Sorry. Give me a second. Okay, welcome back. I fixed it. So we subtract 4 from both sides, and we end up with negative 3d is greater than or equal to 15. We're going to divide both sides by negative 3, and since we divided both sides by negative 3, we need to swap that inequality, so it's less than or equal to now. Negative 3d divided by negative 3 gives us d. 15 divided by negative 3 gives us negative 5. Here this is, let me rewrite this as w divided by negative 4 plus 8 is greater than 9. So we're going to undo this addition by subtracting from both sides. We get w divided by negative 4 is greater than 1. Well, we're going to multiply by negative 4 because we're going to undo this division. We're going to multiply this side by negative 4, and since we divided by a negative number, we're going to swap the inequality. So we get w is less than negative 4. All right, I'm going to just flip your notes over. And now we're going to talk about inequalities that have the distributive property. So in this case, we have negative 7 times x plus 3 is less than or equal to 28. Now, if you remember, in the distributive property, we have to take this negative 7 and we distribute it to everybody inside the parentheses. So negative 7 times x is negative 7x. Negative 7 times 3 is negative 21, and less than or equal to 28. So now it's just a regular old two-step equation. So we're going to add our equation inequality. So we're going to add 21 to both sides. We end up with negative 7x is less than or equal to 49. All right, so now we have to undo that multiplication, and to undo the multiplication, we are going to divide by negative 7. Divide by negative 7. And since we divided by negative 7, we have to swap that inequality. So we end up with x, oops, I said swap, I didn't. So greater than or equal to, and 49 divided by negative 7 is negative 7. So which one of these represents that? So it's greater than or equal to, so we know the dot is actually shaded in, and they all appear to be, but it's actually B, because we're going greater than negative 7. Here's negative 7 here, and it's greater than. So B is the answer. Okay, here's our real life application. So a contestant in a weight loss competition wants to lose an average of at least 8 pounds per month during a 5-month period. How many pounds must the contestant lose in the fifth month to meet the goal? So if we're going to figure out what the average is, we have to add up all of the months, and this is the first month, the second month, third month, fourth month, and then we don't know what he has to lose during the 5th month, so that's x, and we're dividing by 5 because it's 5 months. And it has to be greater than or equal to 8 because we're asking how many pounds must the contestant lose. Oh, contestant in weightlifting wants to lose an average of at least 8 pounds. So at least is greater than or equal to. So when we add up, we're going to have to simplify this. So when we add these up, we get 34 plus x divided by 5 is greater than or equal to 8. Since this, we can't subtract the 34 because this 5 is dividing everybody here. So we're going to actually get rid of the divide by 5 first, which seems different than the way that you're used to doing these, but we have to undo this first because 5 is dividing the 34 and the x. So if we do this, these end up crossing out, so we get 34 plus x is greater than or equal to, and 8 times 5 is 40. Now we can subtract the 34. And we end up with x is greater than or equal to 6. So he has to lose at least 6 pounds to meet his goal. Okay, so here's some on your owns with the distributive property. So give me a pause and then come back and see where you end up. Okay, welcome back. So let's do these quickly. If I distribute the 2, I end up with 2k subtract 10 is less than 6. To undo the subtraction, to undo this, I don't know why I added 20. To undo the subtraction, we're going to add, so we're going to add 10. I don't know why I wrote 20. We end up with 2k is less than 16. Divide by 2, because we're going to undo the multiplication. We end up with k is less than 8. Over here, negative 4 distributed. So negative 4n. And negative 4 times negative 10 gives me 40 is less than 32. I'm going to subtract 40 from both sides. And I end up with negative 4n is less than negative 8. I'm going to divide by negative 4. And since I'm dividing by negative, I know I'm going to swap that around and end up with a greater than sign. So n is greater than 2. And that's the answer to that. Well, I hope that helps for section 4.4, and I'll see you in class.